Well, hey everybody, John Ritlin here, and this is my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup 2019, the finals. And of course, the main focus of this was one, a title match, and two, the finals of the New Japan Cup tournament, a 32-man field. And it was a terrific, terrific end to the tournament. Honestly, a big thumbs up for that. The event itself, and I'll get into in a bit, I gotta admit I was a little bit let down by the title match, but a big thank you as always, Jim, for sending me that little C-Block trophy. I really do appreciate it. Pull above my head here somewhere. Grade it. Leave in the comments what you guys think, because we're 13 days away from the G1 Supercard, and I'll have my predictions up for that probably within the week, I would say. And I will have a top 10 of, New Japan Cup 2019 matches up sometime Tuesday or Wednesday. But let's get on with this. Kevin Kelly, Rocky Romero, and Excalibur on commentary. Terrific trio. Honestly, they did a great job. They did a great job for the semifinals for here. And we start off with Yota Tsuji and Yuya Uemura versus Yuji Nagata and Nakanishi. Mainly it was about the Young Lions getting their asses kicked, but also, getting in some shots. Yota did lift Nakanishi impressively, and Nagata. Nagata got in, Yuya got in. There was a cool double submission spot, but the Nagata lock, number 2, managed to tap out Yuya, so really that's pretty much where they were. I think it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. Now, the Young Lions did have a good showing here, and hopefully Yuya and Yota can continue to improve. And then we get Tenzan Kojima and Shota versus Elgin, Colt Cabana, and Toa Henare. And really, I like 5 of the guys out of the 6 in this match. I wonder which one I don't like. It's Elgin. I don't like Elgin, and I'm going to continue to say that. But this match, Tenzan and Cabana having a nice little scrap. Henare got in. He did pretty well. There was some Kojima chops, but Henare even got his own chops in, and I don't know if he said Kojima's catchphrase, which I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't think it's something necessarily nice. But, again, I don't speak Japanese. That was pretty cool how Henare, got his own chops in. Then we got Shota going in. He actually hit a couple good moves, but there was this one point where he went for the shotgun drop kick, off the top, or the missile drop kick, and ended up getting planted with a powerbomb by Elgin, and it looked pretty bad. And now, hopefully, Shota is okay. There was an Elgin bomb soon after for the 1-2-3. But Shota was being carried off pretty much. Not on a stretcher, but he's being carried off by, the crew, Young Lions and others. So hopefully he's okay, because he looked like he was really rocked. Hopefully he just got his bell rung and he's going to be perfectly fine, because that looked like a pretty nasty landing. And it was nice because everybody else got to have a show of respect in there. That was pretty cool. And hopefully Henare can be in the G1. I know I said that in other reviews, but hopefully. He obviously wouldn't win the damn thing, but it'd just be nice to see him in there. I think he deserves a spot, especially for how he's improved in 2018 and this year. But then we go on with the rest of this card, and match number 3, Makabe, Yano, and Honma versus Minoru Suzuki and KES. Makabe, Yano, and Taguchi are the never openweight 6-man champions, and apparently aren't going to defend the titles ever again. I'm kidding. They've only been champions for a little bit, but still, you might want to have your never openweight 6-man champions in actual matches. And I get it, they don't want to have a champion take the fall if they have the heels win, but make it an 8-man tag or something and have Honma. I just kind of wish they would have the champions actually team up. I know Taguchi's got his own feud going. I don't know. To me, I just think champions should normally team up, especially if you're going to have a 6-man tag team, title that you defend and claim that you care about. But anyway, so Yano got beat up. That was that was typical. He did do some comedy stuff, of course. Suzuki and Makabe just going absolutely crazy, just striking each other. There was a Kokeshi to Archer, but the Killer Bomb in the end pinned Honma for the 1-2-3. It wasn't a bad match. It was, I don't want to say throwaway, but it was probably the most basic of the matches that we got, and until match number 6. But this was pretty cool, and it's always nice to see Suzuki and, KES teaming up. It was pretty cool that Archer did the Don Jardine tightrope walk, and of course, The Undertaker popularized. But Archer is very, very good. He's actually, he's really, really skilled, and him and Davey Boy are a hell of a team. I'm just glad that Archer dropped the whole thing that he was doing around this time last year where he's spitting water on everybody, flu season and all that, and just the fact you might not want to encourage people getting sick. But this was a good match for what it was. And then poor Yota got beat up again. And Archer gets in Rocky Romero's face on commentary, wants to face him in a cage match. I don't want that. I don't want Rocky Romero in a cage match because I like him on commentary and I also like him intact. And that just, I don't know. I don't want that. I don't know why they're teasing that, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a multi-person cage match. But who knows? We then get Kota Ibushi, Tomohiro Ishii, Taguchi, and Ren Narita versus all of LIJ minus Sanada, who's in the finals tonight. And here's my entire thought process on this whole thing. LIJ is an incredible, tag team unit. They're just absolutely wonderful. And Kota Ibushi and Tetsuya Naito should happen on the G1 Supercard. Now, I don't know if it will, but if you want to have a big old layered card and everything and make that night something special, that'd be a way to do it. They did get some good shots, and Ibushi got beat up. There was this, cool spot where then LIJ beat up Taguchi after he tried, to use his ass as a weapon and everything, and that didn't necessarily work. Ibushi and Naito, after getting tagged, they fight out. That was really good stuff. These two have such tremendous chemistry and really make it look so goddamn easy in the ring. And then Evil and Ishii fighting out, and that's a feud I certainly didn't know that I wanted until now. And I know they've had scraps in other matches, tag matches and stuff like that, but I would be all for a full-fledged Ishii versus Evil feud. Give them something to do. I mean, if they're not competing for championships, why the hell not? Everybody got in. Of course, Narita, he got in. He did pretty well, but in the end fell to a pump and bomber for the 1, 2, 3. And then Evil and Ishii had to be separated by the Young Lions. Once again, poor Yota, just getting beaten from pillar to post. It was fine. It was a fun match, and it was nice because it seems like we might be getting Ibushi versus Naito very soon because Ibushi had enough of Naito and was like, I'm tired of you disrespecting the Intercontinental title. I want to face you. Or at least that seemed to be implied. Obviously, there were no promos cut, or at least nothing with a mic around, but we'll see what happens. I would certainly like to see that match added to the G1 Supercard. And then we get Tanahashi and Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. Suzuki-gun members jumping the bell in this and in the third match. I'm shocked. I'm not shocked. But we get we get the action going outside, guardrail spots, some cool submission spots, as you would get with a Zack Sabre Jr. match. Good feud building is, I think they're kind of going with a Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi feud. Or maybe they're just, finishing up like all this stuff after Tanahashi had shockingly beaten Zack Sabre Jr. in the tournament. And I only say shockingly because I thought Sabre Jr., with the way they were going with him, was actually going to make it at least to the semifinals. But we got everybody in like, oh, hit a move, we're doing all this stuff. And then, of course, Taichi ends up getting a low blow, the low blow that the referee doesn't see. Gets the Gato clutch, 1, 2, 3. So Taichi pins the never openweight champion. So he may be getting a title shot very soon. Now, that seemed to have been implied already before this happened. So provided that Will Ospreay, as the never openweight champion, leaves Madison Square Garden after facing Jeff Cobb, the Ring of Honor TV champion, we're probably going to get Taichi becoming never openweight champion again. Possibly wrestling Dontaku. We will see. Maybe on the road to Dontaku. I think they could stretch this out a little bit for till the month of May, but that's just my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Still, certainly wasn't bad, and Ospreay and Tanahashi got beat up afterwards, so, good match for what it was. And then a match that wasn't bad, but just was basic, is Goto, Yoshihashi, and Mikey Nicholls versus Jay White, Bad Luck Fale, and Hikuleo. And Fale is fine in these tag matches, but Fale really should not be in singles matches because he's just not able to do that much anymore. And I know it's size and that kind of stuff and whatever, and it's probably wear and tear. The guy is not bad, but he's better in tag matches, so his weaknesses were hidden here. Action goes outside, Yoshi gets beat up, we got Mikey and Hikuleo in a feud that, I'm sorry, no one really asked for. And Mikey Nicholls is good. Hikuleo, I think, has a chance to really improve, but he's very green. I don't care about this feud at all. I didn't really care for their New Japan Cup match that they had in the first round. It wasn't it was bad. I just didn't care about it. But Goto and Wyatt having a good exchange. Goto almost hitting the GTR, but nope, Blade Runner. Really beautiful counter in the Blade Runner, by the way. 1, 2, 3. And that was fine. That was what it was. And then we get a match that I did not care for. And I'm going to probably be a little critical here. Juice Robinson versus Chase Owens for the U.S. title. I will say no doubt that Chase Owens is a great athlete. Juice Robinson is a great athlete. I'm a big fan of Juice. Don't really care about Chase. I find him boring. But he certainly comes from, as far as who he was trained by, Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, actually, he might have been trained by all of a Rock and Roll Express for all I know. But this wasn't good. This just wasn't. Their match in the New Japan Cup first round was better. It was far better. One, because Chase managed to get the win clean. Juice, it was more focused. He was less, flamboyant, less energetic and all that stuff. He was just straight focused, ran down to the ring. Juice got some shots in and everything, then Chase took over, focusing on the ribs, all this kind of stuff. Jado interfered too goddamn much. I get it that heels are supposed to have this kind of stuff where, okay, they've, they got interference, they got all this stuff. Dirty tactics, all that. They do everything that they possibly fucking can to, win the match. There's nothing wrong with that. That's been going on in wrestling since the 40s, 50s, 60s, since wrestling really began, especially when it started becoming more of an entertainment product. This got to be too much. It really did, and I'm sorry. It devalued what little value Chase could have added to this feud. Again, him wanting to do things by any means necessary, not a bad thing at all. There was Juice going into the guardrail. Chase went into the guardrail multiple times after Juice kept throwing him in there. The Jewel Heist for 2. Superplex and then a jackhammer by Juice. That was pretty impressive. But Jado kept interfering. And look, I get it. He's supposed to do it. The guy's like 80 fucking pounds. Just like put a small fan on him. He'll like freaking blow away into the 5th row. Jado distracts Red Shoes. There's a ref bump. Red Shoes is really fragile. I mean, granted, he got back up soon after, but he always seems to get bumped like over the smallest thing. Jado got in. The cane got broken. Powder in the eyes. Apparently, we're back in Jim Crockett Promotions. And, I love Jim Crockett Promotions, but there's a reason that shit got left back then. And powder was done in other companies, too, and AWA and all that stuff. But Jay uses powder, and he gets in Juice's eyes. I'm like, oh, great, here we go. What the fuck? Bad Luck Fale runs in. And then in the end, even despite that, Juice manages to somehow overcome the powder in his eyes and, knocks Fale out of the ring, ends up after Chase. And I don't even know if it's Chase's fault or Fale's fault, but Chase is supposed to do it. Fale's got Juice held, and Chase is gonna run the U.S. title into him. And it's the worst frickin' belt bump I have ever goddamn seen. I don't know what to deal with. I'm not saying I want him to brain him, for God's sakes. Or I want Fale to take the frickin', take the thing over his head and crack his skull. I didn't want to see anything bad happen, but for fuck's sake, that was amateur level bad. That was like really, really bad. I mean, it's just the timing was off. Something just didn't click here. This might have been one of the worst championship matches. I think this might actually be the worst championship match I've seen since I've been reviewing New Japan Live. I mean, I know that's only been since Wrestle Kingdom 12, but just still, maybe I'm just too critical on the match because I just didn't necessarily care about this feud. But I tried to give it a chance, and I just couldn't. I don't mind a deliberate pace, but this just wasn't good. In the end, a Pulp Friction, by Juice pins Chase for the 1, 2, 3. Thankfully, Chase doesn't win, and Juice retains. Almost said Chase retains. That would have been weird. Look, Chase may be ready to be a U.S. champion or something at some point in a year or two or something. Right now, tag team champion or never openweight 6-man champion is about all he should be. Is it his fault this match is bad? Maybe it's the pacing of it, but if you cut the stalling out of this match, it could have been it could have been 5 minutes shorter. These two could have told a good story. They told a good story in the first round of the New Japan Cup, and just the way this was laid out, it was really lazily booked and lazily done. I'm sorry, that belt, that friggin' belt shot was just bad. That was just really, really bad. Juice wins though, cool. I didn't care for it. Let's move on to something more positive. Okada versus Sanada in the New Japan Cup Finals, and oh boy, fucking terrific. It really, really was. This was absolutely wonderful. The psychology that these two, put on the ring. Shibata on commentary. A man who had won the 2017 New Japan Cup faced off against Okada, and then all that, all the health stuff happened with him, and thankfully he is okay. I really don't want to see him back in the ring because I really don't want to see the guy die because the guy has such a hard-hitting style, though he's doing great as a coach. But anyway, he's on commentary. And this had such a huge fight feel. The crowd was so focused and ready for Sanada to win. I wanted Sanada to win. Sanada didn't win, though, because obviously I'm not wearing a Sanada shirt. I don't own one, but the whole point is I wouldn't be wearing a Rainmaker shirt if that was the case. So, yeah, there was a cool Paradise Lock where he got the Paradise Lock on Okada. Well, that's something. There were a few too many sleeper holds, but again, deliberate, it was building. This is where deliberate and slow pace actually worked because, one, you didn't have a ton of interference like you had in the previous U.S. title match. Air raid neckbreaker by Okada, that was impressive. Too many good spots to call. There was a cool DDT outside. Sanada comes back with a jumping tombstone. He missed a moonsault. Rainmaker got hit, but then Rainmaker second time. Sanada ducked, and it was what it was. Now there were other cool spots. There was a nice skull end, plenty of reversals, another skull end, and it looked like. It actually looked like, Okada was going to tap. It actually really looked like he was going to, and the crowd wanted Okada to tap. It wasn't that they had anything against Okada. They wanted to see Sanada win. Because it was in the same venue that the semifinals were in. And that's, I believe it's right in the same city or very close to where Sanada grew up. I'm going based on what English commentary said. I would listen to Japanese commentary, but I wouldn't understand all what they're saying. The Keijo Moonsault, the Great Moonsault missed. It was 30 plus minutes. I think it was about 35 minutes by the end of it. And it was really good. It was a really, really good match. TKO by Sanada just for 2. Rainmaker counter. There was plenty of great counters, but in the end, Spike pile driver, or the, tombstone pile driver, and a Rainmaker 1, 2, 3, and Kazuchika Okada is heading to face off against Jay White for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in Madison Square Garden at G1 Supercard. Jay White comes out, him and Gato, cut promos and everything. Gato doing a great job getting the heat. Because Gato understands how to get heat without overdoing it. Usually. And Jay White runs him down and everything. And I guess there were fans that were booing Jay, but then they were kind of like, what? During Jay's promo. Pretty much because they probably don't understand what he's saying. And I'm not knocking him. That's probably why they were kind of muted after booing him. And it was pretty cool. They kept booing him because Jay, I think, I don't know if he was getting frazzled or whatever, but he was just doing, he was just like stopping and this kind of stuff. But that was a terrific main event. I'm sorry, that U.S. title match brought the grade down. If the U.S. title match had even been somewhat close to what their first round match was, I will say that had it not been for say this just been a normal show and the U.S. title had closed the show, I'm sorry, I would have given it maybe a C, but I'm going to give it a B. B for sure. The main selling point of this was Okada versus Sanada. It was a terrific match on my favorite matches of the year list. So again, yeah, pull up there somewhere, but yeah, B. Am I being a bit harsh? Maybe. Let me know in the comments if you think I was too harsh on the U.S. title match, and let me know what you think of Okada facing Jay White. I think Okada's got to win, because if Okada loses, then what do you do with him? I mean, maybe have him and Tanahashi team up and take the tag titles? We'll see. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I am John Ritlin, and I will see you on April 7th.